What is up, guys? We're back with another episode of Devil on G String. Once we last left off, we had the Mao standing here menacingly. So let's get right into it. He stands there pondering. It's been almost an hour. Mao closed his eyes. There is no heating, and the ice-cold wall pressed against his back. With such an indifference to the cold, it is as if he were a monk who had just suppressed all sensation from the outside world. Mao already had a plan. When the plan is carried out, a crime of historical proportions will be brought upon this very city. However, this time, it is not right. All the preparations have been made. All that remained was to simply await the perfect moment. It is, to use a cliche, like the calm before the storm. Are there any loose ends left to be neatly tied together? Did he miss anything during the planning phase? He pondered this over and over. He always arrived at the same answer. There is nothing left to do. Right now, his best course of action is to lie low. Usami Haru. If there is any unknown factor in the plan, it's her. Mao used a detective agency to check up on Usami Haru. That long-haired girl is quite different from a normal high school student. He had experienced her incredible intelligence firsthand. The detectives had searched her personal contacts and background as well. In the process, they have covered that Usami Haru had another side to her. However, it is not something that could threaten Mao's plan. What need is there to fear her? There are plenty of other people who would hold a grudge against Mao. He heard the sound of the elevator moving. Sumeya bowed deeply. A hint of sweat rolled down his forehead as he stood up straight. He stared at Sumeya's red face. He spoke to him with his eyes. It was not a meeting, but a party, wasn't it? I also did my homework about you. How about how much you love that liquor? Sumeya breathed out words drenched in the smell of alcohol. The conversation immediately switched gears. Sumeya is now quite submissive to Mao. Seeing him soundly defeat even in the genius from Boston apparently left quite the impact on him. Sumeya doesn't know anything about Mao. Name, age, history, all of his information has been fabricated. But in some businesses, it's better not to know your partner's true nature. After all, it's easier to escape the law that way if it happened to come to that. Sumeya tried to be understanding. Mao's biggest contribution to the Sanao Corporation was the smuggling of firearms. Since before the war, the nation's firearm industry was monopolized by a single company. Mao's prowess is what helped break this monopoly on the Japanese firearm market. The Japanese tax on imports was harsh, but Mao saw a weak point in their low tax on exports. By establishing a base in the ports of Niigata and Fukuoka, and by forming ties with miscreant foreigners who had past experience in doing business with organized crime groups, he formed a route between North Korea and Hong Kong. There were a number of huge risks involved. He knew the country's crisis management was something not to be underestimated. But regardless of how powerful his enemies may be, it was something he had to do. They finished talking about business. They covered topics like how they cover up the weapons, the method in which to smuggle them, which people need to win over to their side. Everything had been taken care of. Sumeya finally relaxed.
君の目的は何なのだ?
目的?
君ほどの男だ。金ではないのだろ?
The alcohol must have been wearing off. Sumeya looked a little tense.
そろそろ長い付き合いになる。君の夢の一つでも聞かせてもらえんかね。
That look in his eyes is not bad at all, he thought. From the very beginning, Maou had never taken Sumeya lightly. True, he did think he was easy to manipulate, but not to the point where he would hold contempt for him. When Sumeya ascended to the position of Director of Senior Management for the Sanao Corporation, he took the organization in a whole new direction. As part of a policy of rapid expansion, the company invested most of its proceeds into new and different ventures. Of course, since the new plan involved giving lower priority to employee bonuses, there was no shortage of opposition to it. But all of this, even working with Maou, expanded into illegal business. It was all for the sake of the company.
私の父は戦中派の人間でね。この会社のために懸命に働き、骨をうずめていった。私は父が大きくした会社を守っていかねばならないんだよ。
ご立派な志です。
He said that sincerely. Even though people call him Maou, Maou never actually thought of himself as some sort of overbearing existence. He knew that Sumeya, being over 30 years older than himself, no doubt had certain capabilities which he himself could not compare.
夢などありません。
謙遜するな。君の目は戦いを前にした父の目に似ている。大きな志を持った男の目だ。
夢などありません。本当です。
He said this absolutely. Sumeya lowered his head. The man seemed to be trying to hide his disappointment.
まあいい。何にせよ、金で動かない人間は扱いが難しい。
何かお困りのようですね。
鋭いな、君は。なに、東区の用地買収がね、思うように進んでないんだ。
土地を手放したくない人間がいるんですね。
相場の2倍の金を出すと言っても聞いてくれない。あまりに困ったんで、プロを雇うことにしたよ。
Probably specialist in organized violence. So Sumeya likes these brute methods too. Nowadays, though, land sharks can't use the same kinds of violent methods they did back in the bubble. It's understandable that he'd had trouble making a settlement.
あと、たったの一区画なんだがね。
Sumeya took out his notebook. Addresses and blueprints were scattered throughout the pages. He flipped to a page which listed the families unwilling to move
いず
out.
れにせよ、私には関係のない話です。
Maou flung his hand to cast away the request.
これはすまなかった。君の手を煩わせるつもりはない。
染谷室長が手を煩わせるほどのことでもないでしょう。
Indeed, it would be more appropriate for a section chief at a subsidiary company to be worrying over a matter like this. He was well aware of how much effort the Sanao Corporation had invested in the Eastern District recreational project. Still, Sumeya was the director of senior management at the corporate headquarters. It would be hard to swallow that this project was so important to him. Certainly there is more to the story.
国土交通省の方とお会いになっているそうですね。
君にはかなわんな。そう、株だよ。
Inside? I just woke up, guys. Sorry about all the yawning. Insider trading. Indeed, if this project proceeds successfully, the value of the stock would skyrocket and fast. Sumeya obviously passed on some information to bribe the official. Just then, Mao picked up a name from Sumeya's notebook.
Miwa Tsubaki.
Oh, he closed his eyes. Miwa Tsubaki. Where had he heard this name before?
どうかしたのかね。
いえ、
Oh, shit.
気分が悪そうだが。
Oh, yes. She's an acquaintance of Usami Haru.
この三輪椿という少女は自由ヶ崎学園に通っているのでは。
知り合いかね。
Mao chuckled. What should he do with his free time before the storm? The answer to the object of his ceaseless pondering had come together in an instant. He could use Tsubaki to corner Usami Haru, forcing her to submit.
染谷室長、私に任せていただきたい。
Sumeya caught his breath.
どういう風の吹き回しだ。
南米のテロリストの話です。旅客機の中にテロリストが狙う要人がいました。テロリストは要人を殺害するだけでは気が済まなかった。何の罪もない旅客を巻き添えにして飛行機を墜落させました。要人と同じ飛行機に乗っていたという理由だけで。
Damn, he went hard with that. Mao's lips twisted into a frown. Negative emotions stirred within him. Emotions he could not suppress. Just as Mao had said, he does not have a dream himself.
私の心にあるのはただ一つです。
さっきから何を言ってるんだ。
すべてお任せください。
Mao turned away from Sumeya. His whole body trembled. There was one thing, one emotion able to force Mao into action. Revenge. Only revenge. Ooh. Mao's gonna fuck with Tsubaki. In the end, I never went to Tsubaki's house yesterday. Well, I'll just have to go some other time. I had to leave Tsubaki due to emergency. Oh, I'm terribly sorry about yesterday. Tsubaki, unaware of the conflicting thoughts inside me, gave her a usual smile. Do you think I could come over to your house and hang out sometime soon? So, does that mean I can? Sorry about the pause there. What's up? It's unusual for you to appear so flustered. Embarrassed? Now I really want to go. How about today? Ooh, we're sly. Ooh! I smiled and moved closer to her. So what? It's not like I'm asking for your hand in marriage. Ichi made an appearance out of nowhere. What the fuck? No. What? Look, kid, I don't need a tag along. Usami! Don't butt in where you aren't welcomed. Why did the two of you suddenly pop up anyways? This woman doesn't listen to me. Tsubaki raised her head.
みんな
Man!
いいか
The fuck, dude?
なやだわ
Well, whatever. I made a few phone calls between classes. I needed to discuss the Miwa family. I was getting some heat for being too slow with my work. Hello, yes, this is Kyousuke. Please go there tonight again. Yes, under no circumstances are you to get too rough. Is that understood? I called the company and asked them to send some people over to Tsubaki's house tonight. I need to go check out the place too. There must be a reason why they're not selling. The whole eastern district is a rural area. Indeed, the property value there has risen tremendously due to everyone's attention to the upcoming ski resort. But still, there's nowhere near the value of downtown property. They must have a lot of guts to turn down an offer several times higher than the property's worth. My job is to uncover the reason behind their persistent refusal and then destroy that reason little by little. Oh fuck! I suddenly spotted Shiratori with the corner of my eye. Yo. She barely even looked at me. A couple of us are going to Tsubaki's house tonight. You wanna come too?
遠慮しておくわ
Damn, what is that fucking evil eye look? Don't say that. It would be fun to have a little get together. We're going to have a big nabe party as a family. Come on. What do you say?
授業始まるわよ
This woman. She turned around to leave. Hey, hold up a second. Why do you hate me so much?
あなた自分がどういう人間なのか
Oh
自
shit.
覚していないのね
Come on. What kind of person am I?
あなたの裏の顔を知ったら一緒に鍋パーティーなんてしたがるかしら
That's kind of harsh. Don't be like that. You want to make everyone leave by telling me... Wait, what? You want to make everyone leave by telling them about my true
あ
self?
なたは本当に友達を友達として見てるの
God, this girl just doesn't quit. Let me ask you something, Shiratori. Have I wronged you in some way?
Eh?
Perhaps I do have a dark side, one that I wish to hide. Does that affect you negatively in any way? Of course it doesn't. Shiratori is just afraid of me. It's not like I'm gonna eat you. Let's be friends, okay? I reached out my hand courteously.
いや
Yeah! Absolute rejection. Even her back was visibly angry. Jeez. What the hell did I do wrong? Okay, guys. With that being said, we're gonna end it here. If you like this visual, feel free to give me a like, comment, and or subscribe. And we'll be back with another episode in due time. See you guys.